Hello everyone. This is Elena Bartash, your real estate investor. And today my podcast, as usual, is about private money. So for those who does not know, I'm member of a wonderful community, Sub2. It's Pace Morbis created community. And many of my networking and contacts are actually from this community. And we have lots of capital raisers. We have people who call them capital raisers, but unfortunately, not everyone is real capital raiser, because many people they raise capital for their deals inside of community. And I know only few people who does real high top level capital raising, who work with people, potential lenders who never done lending, and they involve them to fund their deals. So one of this person, very cool guy, one of the leaders in Sub2 community, Shane Roach. Meet Shane. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Elena. How are you?
I'm wonderful because today is my podcast. How are you?
I'm blessed. I feel really honored that you had me on the show. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure and my honor to have you as my guest, because I love when me and my guests able to bring real value to people, and I know you're this kind of person who is able to. Yes, so our topic today is about private money lending, about private money world. And first and foremost, could you please tell people who is Shane Roach?
Absolutely. And it's kind of funny being on this side of the conversation because I'm so used to doing the Zooms and being the interviewer. So this is kind of fun. I like to be on the other side. So I am currently living in Michigan. This is where I was born and raised. And after I graduated high school in '88, yes, I'm old. I got out of here as fast as I could. And after college, I took a career, moved me to Detroit, Michigan. And at that time, I've been living in a dorm with roommates for all these years. I didn't want to live in an apartment. I wanted to find a house. So I bought a house that needed a lot of TLC, needed a lot of love. And I wasn't doing it because I was a real estate investor. It was just something that I longed to do. My dad was a builder. My brother's a builder. My uncles were builders. So out of all that, it was just something we did. And 2 years working a W-2 job, I gutted the house from the shingles to the foundation and totally redid that. And after 2 years, sold the house and went, that wasn't a bad little hobby. So we did it again. And after a while, did something foolish, found a girl, fell in love, had babies, and then that changed things. And instead of being in the house that you're trying to renovate, all of a sudden, that's not practical. So then it was, okay, let's go find a different house. Let's fix that one up while we're living in this one and not disturb your home life. So as we did that, and converted those from not being fix and flips, but hey, let's fix one and keep one for a rental. Well, after 12 years, we had 22 doors. And at the time, I was doing everything. I was finding the deals, underwriting them, doing the plumbing, doing the drywall work, finding the tenant, fixing the toilets. After a while, you just got very, very burned out. And with the life change and career change, moved me from Michigan to Texas, liquidated everything that we had in Michigan. Got out of the state for 12 years. I was really burnt out from doing all that myself.
Yeah.
But after the kids got older and graduated, they came back to Michigan to go to school for college, that is. I was an empty nester, so I had like time on my hands. What do I do? And I got the real estate itch again, right? So I was like, I want to do some more fix and flips. Get on YouTube. Who do you see? Pace Morbies everywhere. So I jumped into that stuff too, right? Both feet just in. And that's where it got all started. And I knew I had to do it differently. So the first house I bought for a fix and flip was in Beaumont, Texas. I was living in Dallas at the time. And that was just far enough away that I couldn't go do the work. But it was close enough that if I had to, I could go down there. So after we had a contractor rehab the house and they were done, as the first time I stepped foot in the house and looked at it, went, oh, this could be done without me doing any of the work. And that was like a big light bulb aha moment. And that changed my trajectory from there.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're going through Sub 2 and looking at different types of real estate, because Sub 2 is a great community. Everything you can think of, single family homes, flips, rentals, commercial properties, it's all covered. It's a great community. I met my business partner there, Cindy Hook. And how we met was we were in a couple different groups and we were looking at different types of properties, mobile home parks, storage units, short-term rentals. And as that group of people that was doing that changed, it always came back down to Cindy and I were the ones that stuck around and we ended up doing all the work. And it was like, after a few months of that, we're like, why don't we just form a partnership and go buy properties? Deal done.
Yep.
And it's been a great partnership, 3 years strong. So as we're doing that, and we started our own Facebook group for our closest friends that were following us, just to kind of give back to our community. And Cindy and I were on the phone and on Zoom looking at deals, doing what we do every day. We just said, we'll just make it live and share it. And we started recording them. And here it is. Now we have 4,400 members in that group. It's fabulous.
Good.
Blessing.
Good. Love it.
But we did realize, as you want to scale, get into bigger projects, or, like this last year where we did a lot more deals, right? The frequency in order to pick up the pace of your business, your tempo, we really had to reach out and bring on different partners. So we brought on some private money lenders and some equity partners. So, and both those things are great topics for tonight. So, and the difference there really being, as we the first big deal that we did, we bought a mobile home park. And the way we structured that was, hey, we came on with a couple of different equity partners, bring on the funds. And some of those were actually private money lenders. Some of them were equity partners. And we'll talk about the difference in just a second. But in order to tackle a big project like that, we needed a lot of funds for acquisition, whole bunch of rehab work that needed to be done, and some carrying costs. So to get all that going, you need capital. Capital makes the whole world go round.
Absolutely. Right. Let's talk about, do you remember your first experience working with private lenders? How it was, how it looked like? What was your experience? What did you get? What did you get any aha moments, or it was organically you stepped into private lending? I mean, relationship with private lenders.
So our first relationship with private lenders was actually being a private lender. Of course, besides being in Sub 2, Cindy and I are also Gators. So we started off being lenders for other people. And as we did that, the pinnacle moment there was we actually did a $50,000 EMD for a commercial deal. And it was somebody out of the Sub 2 community, somebody we kind of knew, but we also knew that they weren't super experienced. But we were excited, right? So I get that first deal and everybody's excited. That's when you really got to pump the brakes. And when the emotions start to come up, when you're in private money lending, it's really about the numbers. You really got to let the deal work for the numbers. Get the emotions out of it.
Yep.
The emotions about the deal don't matter, and the emotions about the person don't matter. Put those aside and analyze them if it was a business, because this is what it is. It's a business. But thank goodness we paid attention in our Gator class. We had all the right paperwork, because at the last minute, our borrower ghosted us. Didn't just ghost us, but the seller as well. Just kind of, they were wholesaling the deal, come to find out, and didn't have what it took to close, so they just disappeared. And that put us in a panic to get our 50K back from EMD. So we had all the right paperwork. We had this great relationship actually with title and the seller, because going through this experience, they're like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? And we were in daily communication multiple times that last week. And then between the title and seller, we got our EMD back. So going through that lesson really taught us that, hey, we really got to be careful here, because that could have gone bad really, really quickly. So, knowing that from being a private money lender, we knew that as we grew and we're now going to start using private money lenders, the very first thing is, build that relationship, but make sure that they know no matter what happens, your capital, your funds are going to get returned. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We're not a flash in the pan. And I think building that credibility by reaching out, having Zooms, having talks, but also being available whenever they need us. My friend Cindy has a rule that is, if a private money lender calls us, within 30 minutes, we must call them back. Doesn't matter. Sunday, 7 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, doesn't matter. Whatever they need, we answer, because that relationship is very, very important. And usually it's just to say, hey, how's it going? Haven't heard from you. That's our note to say we failed somewhere, because if you haven't heard from us on a regular basis, we're not doing our job. So we always try to be proactive. It's another thing that we've learned and just stay in touch. Hey, Elena, here's what's going on with the project. Here's a photo. Here's what's going, here's where we're at in the timeline. But most importantly, if there's a hiccup, tell you right away. Hey, we opened up this wall and we found there's a problem. Here's what we're doing to mitigate it. We're just letting you know. It's under control. Not keep it a secret from our private money lenders. So many people we find don't tell the private money lenders things because they don't want them to worry. They, no. Open the book. Be open and transparent as possible. Because if you do that, that builds that trust and relationship. That way, Elena would know that, hey, if there is an issue, she'll be the first to know about it, not the last. And your lenders have to be treated that way.
Shane, it's actually a great point. I remember someone from my guests, I'm sorry, I just forgot who actually once told such a great phrase. So the moment our lender calls to us and started asking questions, we in the beginning to fail. Like you mentioned, you don't have to wait until lender starts call us and with question, what's going on, guys? How is everything, right? If they call, it means they don't feel comfortable.
It's true. If your lenders are calling you for questions, you failed.
Yep. Shane, I would like to go a little bit deeper with you, and I know you do real capital raising. So you work out of a real estate community, you work with people who never done lending, who never done investing in real estate. You know how to find them, how to work with them, how to start conversation with them. So could you please share your experience? What sources of such people are more productive for you? Where are you going to meet them? How you start their conversation? How you persuade them? What kind of arguments you give to these people? So how it looks with you?
This is a great topic, because what I found is everybody that you connect with on a daily basis could be a potential private money lender to you. You just didn't know that. it's not always just the people that are on a Zoom when we're talking about private money lending. Obviously those people are there for that reason, but it might be people in your daily life. We've had friends of ours who are in this industry say, hey, when I was on a business trip, I was talking to my Uber driver about what I do. And hey, we help people earn double-digit returns backed by real estate. They're just normal people like you. Are you interested? And obviously it starts a conversation. It's not a sales pitch. It's just, hey, this is how we do it. And if they're interested, they're in. And actually, I just had this happen twice in this last week. One was an old business associate of mine back in Texas. We stay in touch, and he changed careers, and he said, you know what? I'm interested in doing one of your deals. How do I get started? And I put him in touch with, we have a good connection, John Park, who helps set up a self-directed IRA. And then we can use that money into a funded deal. That was a connection made 5 years ago that finally came to fruition. Also this week was a friend of mine in my personal life. And on several levels, I try to keep business life and personal life a little separate. But I am who I am, right? I don't hide who I am. So on a daily basis, I talk real estate, even when I try to get away from it every once in a while. So a friend in this, not in the business world, but in my personal life, came to me and said, hey, I got this money from an old employer. I want to put it to work. And I kind of know what you're doing, but tell me more. So we sat down over coffee and said, okay, here's what I do. Here's how I do it. If you're interested, you're more than welcome. I'll help you out. You're a good friend of mine. If you're not interested, no hard feelings. And just like that, you have another private money lender. We're also very intentional sometimes when we go out and like shows like this, where we try to bring education and experience and get people to step up and say, ooh, I'm out here looking just for that. Great. So we do a lot of lead with value. We do a lot of shows. A lot of that we do primarily in our own Creative Real Estate University. It's our Facebook group. And that just, like I said, we started that just as a way to share our story and give it back to our community. But as it's grown, we've also been very intentional of raising capital out of the group and showing people how to set up their IRAs or retirement accounts if that's what they want to use, or go get business lines of credit. We show them how to do that. A lot of the people that we've shown how to do that go off and do it on their own. So nothing makes us more happy and more proud than we have somebody that can go do that successfully. So that doesn't have to be with us. We're more than happy to show you how to go do it yourself. But we also run into people that say, Elena will call me and say, Shane, I work a W-2 job. I have 3 kids. I want to get into real estate, but I have no time to do all this other stuff. Perfect.
Yeah.
Partner with us. Let us do the heavy lifting. We'll bring you as involved as you want to be or not. And those partnerships work out fabulous as well.
Yeah, it's great. You see so many sources, right?
So many sources. We've done a lot of outreach and social media, and really not with intention as we should, and you'll see a change in that this year as we go into 2025 is Cindy and I both have started generating content that adds value in an effort to bring in leads. Then we can build a relationship and then say, okay, here's opportunities that we have. Do you want to do it with us, or we can show you how? So always lead with value. I guess that's been our basic success, is show the experience, build the trust, lead with value.
Yep. Golden rules. Thank you so much, Shane. And how do you work with people who, for example, who wants to lend with you, but they don't do underwriting? And I believe many lenders, they don't do underwriting because not everyone is so friendly with numbers, just like me. Yeah, I hate it. Sorry. Yeah, I'm open. I hate it. And but I know even lenders, they don't do any numbers. So how do you work with such people? What do you offer them?
Um, we show you all the underwriting that we've done. We're an open book. We'll show you all the comps we've done for the property, our scope of work that we have for the property, all the bids for the contractors. Here it all is. All the pictures of the before. Here's our timeline. We'll share all that
Yep.
with you. Some people get glossy-eyed when you show an Excel spreadsheet, and they don't want to be involved, like you said, and they just want to be part of the deal. But we really caution people to say, not only here, look through our numbers, but we want you to take them and go dissect them, punch holes in them, and ask us questions. Because if you understand the scope of work and can see why we do what we do, that level of trust is skyrocketed. But if you come back and go, you're going to remodel the kitchen, but you only have $800 for new cabinets, there's no way you can buy new cabinets for this kitchen for that price. What's going on? People like to get that involved, and we love that because it gives us a chance to say, well, we're going to save these cabinets and we're going to replace these, or we're just going to refinish these. They can see there's a plan there. If we go into it without a plan, disaster awaits. And we've heard lots of horror stories in the communities of a new investor, real estate investor, goes out, wants to do a fix and flip, gets a private money lender to bring in all the funds, and the deal turns into a disaster because they never started off with a good plan. We've seen that time and time again. And we always tell people, if Elena came to me and she was thinking about getting into somebody else's deal, I said, Elena, if you don't want to look at the numbers, share them with me. I'll look them over. I'll let you know if it's a good deal. We've done that for people as well. It's just say, it's not rocket science. You have to just kind of understand some basics. Go look at comps. We'll show you how to do comps. But if you want help doing that for the first time, just give me a call. And that also builds that level of trust. And even if we don't do a deal today, I've had it years later, somebody will remember that favor that you did them. And they'll come back and say, hey, I finally got my funds out of this project. Do you guys have anything? Absolutely.
Yeah. Everything starts from the good deep relationship, from the credibility, from trust, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we look at it, yes, it's a business that we're running, but the people that we work with are lifetime friends. Lifetime friends.
Great.
For sure.
Great.
So we have people that, not because of business, that we call them up and just say, hey, Elena, how's it going? How you doing? How's the family? We do that even with people that, we may not have a deal right now, but we've built such a rapport. These are our close friends. We want to stay in touch.
Wonderful. Just wanted to touch base actually with this topic. I know many people struggling, especially new investors, people struggling with follow-up. So let's call it follow-up, right? Let's say we had already Zoom with our potential lender, first physical meeting, right? First conversation. And our potential lender, we see potential between us, right? We see potential for the future business. And people struggling what to do next. Okay, I gave this person basic information. What to do next? How I can build this relationship? What would you suggest?
This past year, we've seen a lot of activity and conversation in the community about being a connector. And so many people are out just trying to be a connector. And what they're missing is the follow-up. Don't just say if you can call 50 people, or just get out and see if you can see, 100 connections, but try to build those connections deep. I think you're better off having 20 deep connections than 200 top level connections, because the real funding, right? The real gold is in that follow up. It's not just knowing, hey, I know Elena, but if I really know what Elena wants, and more importantly, if she knows what I want and I'm top of mind for her, when she has that need come up, she's going to pick up the phone. Who's she going to call? Better be me.
Mm-hmm.
So, build those connections, do the follow up, take the time to build that deeper level of relationship so people will think of you, because otherwise there's 200 other people out there trying to do what you're doing. Always trying to be on somebody's Rolodex. Yes, I'm old. I have a Rolodex. Who has a Rolodex
Okay.
anymore?
Yeah.
But yeah.
What is the best way? What is the best way to follow up with people? How would you do it?
I do it. I think the best way to follow up is like this, building that personal connection. Technology is wonderful in that it's allowed us to know a phone call works great, but I think a Zoom call or something like this where you actually can see somebody has really improved our close rate, because when we have our meetings set up, we always do them. We try to do them on Zoom so that you can see who I am, right? After you rebuild that rapport, it's easier to stay in contact. You can use technology to do things like texting or email, and maybe even automate some of that stuff so that once a month, Elena will get all my deal flow, or every other week we'll just say, hi, Elena, how you doing? Do you need anything? But every once in a while, you do have to pick up the phone and just call somebody and hear your voice. I think so many people miss that personal connection. When you're talking about private money lending, somebody giving up their nest egg that they worked years, decades for, you're asking for that. Do you want them to hand that over to you and they don't have that personal connection? You shouldn't be asking for that, and they shouldn't be giving it to you without that personal connection. Oh.
Yep, I agree. And let's jump into deal structure. In the beginning, you mentioned you work with lenders, as in lenders, the direct lenders, and with equity partners. So especially, I'm really interested about to discuss with you how you structure deals with your equity partners. So what are you looking on to decide what kind of structure you want to offer to your potential equity partner? Because for those who doesn't know, equity partner means we co-own the property, right? We bring property, we do project management, and our lender brings capital, and they are passively active investors, right? They only observe situation from on the side. We do all stuff. So to be equity partner, it gives lender more chances to see situation from inside. But how do you structure deals with them?
I wish there was an easy, simple formula that every deal is the same, but it never is. Every deal is unique and separate and different. Not only is a deal differently, but the relationship you have might be different. So the needs might be different. So we've done everything from private money equity partner coming in, bringing in a certain number of funds, a percentage of the business in exchange for a direct percentage, right? So if you bring in 10% of the funds, you're going to get 10% of the business, the partnership. We've had some where it was not quite that simple. You might bring in 50% of the funds for 10% of the business. It all depends on the roles and responsibilities, who's doing what, and unfortunately, fortunately, because I love that part of that bargaining is trying to figure out every deal, and that's part of the underwriting. When we look at a deal and go, how are we going to structure this deal? Oh, well, I think the best way to do this is let's bring on an equity partner. Well, if I was an equity partner, what would I want? And that's usually where we start. Is okay, because if we can sell it to ourselves, then it's an easier sell. Then we know we can go out and find a lender or an equity partner for that role. And what we like to use a lot in the story that we tell is we like to go find someone who likes to lend and learn at the same time. So someone who wants to get into real estate, but hasn't quite jumped in for one reason or another, time, experience, fear, all these things play a factor. We want you to come in and partner with us, and we'll show you everything that we do. So from finding the deal to underwriting the deal, how we manage contractors, how we manage the job site, all those we'll share with you, but also like get you involved as much as we can, much as you want to be in that process, so you understand it. And hopefully after doing a deal 2 or 3 with us, you can then go on and do it on your own if you prefer. We have some people who work W-2 jobs. So they work a full-time job with family, and they only want to be equity partners or private money lenders, depending on the structure.
Yep. But anyway, how do you structure numbers? Maybe you can give us a couple examples and why you selected this way to structure deal, and another situation why you choose this way to structure this way. Give us please a couple examples.
Yeah, so in a couple of single family homes, we have people come on as, and bring all the funding for the project, where we've gone out and found the deal, did all the underwriting. We actually come in kind of like a 50-50 partnership for that. And that's quite common then, is kind of looking at that deal structure. But then there are some that are more like a fix and flip, where we know we're going to do a lot more of the heavy lifting of the day-to-day operations. And that kind of turns into like a 25% equity ownership for the partner. And we get 75% based on all the work and bringing the deal. So, but there's really no cut and dry answer to that, because every deal has been different.
Yeah, I agree. I was speaking with several people, and really, like you mentioned, sometimes, for example, to buy and hold creative property, real estate investors involve equity partners, and they structure deal really simple: 50-50, 50-50 equity, 50-50 cash flow after all expenses, right? But the more people, lenders, the more they do deeply in creative finance, sometimes people want more, and they want to make sure their capital will come back to them faster.
Yes. Yeah.
And some people prefer to get all cash flow until they will receive back all their capital, investment capital. Yep. I guess it's not too fair for investor, because we do a lot, right? We need to spend hours and hours, days and months sometimes, to check through million different deals, to underwrite them, to speak with different people, and then we do project management, and it's not fair. What do you think?
Some days it feels like all we do is work for our private money lenders. We do so much behind the scenes on every deal for hours and hours of work that sometimes we go, man, we didn't get paid at all on that project. All the money went to our private money lenders. Yeah. And so we have done several deals where we're at 50-50 to begin with. But at the end of it, you go, boy, was that really worth it for all the work that we did? Where we looked at the private money lender, and they did like a couple hours of work and made the same amount of money. So that's why we have structured those deals a little differently. Going forward, is some of those more recent deals have higher percentages for us based on the amount of work we do. But and that structure changes depending on our partners, how much work they want to do.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, don't think, please, I don't appreciate, for example, my equity partner. I have wonderful equity partner. She's member of sub 2. I love her. She is my friend, and I really would love to treat her money as my own, and I would love to show her absolutely appreciation and just trying to build the business the way. So everyone should be happy, right?
Everyone should be happy. Yeah.
Everyone should be happy.
Again, if that your private money lender isn't happy at the end of the job, we did something wrong.
Yeah.
We didn't tell you right up front what was it going to look like. We didn't tell you all along where we're going to end up. Somewhere we failed in that. So we want to make sure that at the end of the job, everybody walks away happy. And for the most part,
Yeah.
if you communicate with them throughout the project and do what you said you're going to do, right? If you're going to make monthly payments, make monthly payments. Don't miss a payment, right? So just structure it up, put it on auto pay, get those out there. And at the end of the project, we're giving them a check. The one thing I can say that we didn't do very well when we were first starting out, that we've gotten a lot better at, is that follow-up that Elena was just talking about. Is after we close the deal, we're now calling people right away and want to get them on a Zoom and just say, we'd like to say thank you, and close it up, and then at the same time do a video testimonial and just say, what did you like about the project? What did you like about working with Shane and Cindy? What would you like to go back and tell a potential friend that might want to be a private money lender? What would you tell them? And last thing we ask is, what could we have done better? And by doing that, really solidifies that relationship. Those people want to work with us again as much as we possibly can. Because you're first starting out, people want great returns. They want short terms, right? They want their money back as fast as possible. And right. And what we find now is like, hey, we call our lenders up and say, hey, we're going to close on this deal. We have a check coming for you on Friday. And they say, well, can I turn around and get right back to you? You got a deal. I want my money working. So if you build that relationship, the money will just be there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shane, for all your golden nuggets, for all your experience. It's really valuable. And I know many people struggling with some mindset bottlenecks. Some, especially newbies, new investors, are struggling to start speaking with people about real estate. I was thinking a lot about it. Maybe some people that don't feel themselves enough confident about their business. Maybe they don't have enough knowledge. So, what would you suggest to people who just started, or who have these mindset troubles?
I just stay active. Don't, as you first get into some of the real estate, especially some of the bigger programs, right? I love sub 2, but when I joined 3 years ago, when I first got in, it was like drinking from a fire hose. It's just so much information about so many different things. And looking at it now, the program's just gotten larger, right? There's so much information out there. And again, that's one of the things I love about real estate, because there's a million ways to make $1 million. The problem with real estate is there's a million ways to make $1 million. People get so distracted. So pick one thing, get really, really good at it. So if you want to be a real estate investor, you get out and underwrite deals, make offers. But while you're doing that, make connections with people who might be potential future private money lenders. Start building those connections now, even if you haven't done a deal, because bring them along and show them what you're doing. And I think as you do that, for someone who's just starting out, don't be afraid to say, hey, I haven't done this before, but let's learn it together. And if you did that as a partnership from nothing and grew together, boy, what a solid bond that would turn into, right? And on the reverse side of that, if you are a private money lender just starting out, my suggestion for you, if you're kind of in that mindset stuck part, I think a lot of it comes down to fear. And new private money lenders, that's what I see is they like the idea of getting these great returns, but can I really trust those people with my nest egg that I worked all these years from?
Mhm.
And how you get over that is really connecting with somebody who's done a deal and has really good experience closing on those deals and getting that capital return back to their lenders. Find the person with the track record. Don't start with somebody who's never done it before, because the paperwork is actually very, very important. You want to make sure your paperwork protects you and your money in case something goes awry, right? We never want to have to rely on those things, but if you're falling out of the plane, you have to have your parachute. You can't get it later.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
so if you understand what the real estate process is, have the right paperwork, that's your parachute. When things go awry, you're ready.
Great. Thank you so much. And couple very practical questions. So Shane, I know you do co-living,
Yeah.
but split this model, right? Okay. How many months holding cost you have on your underwriting usually?
Um, for us, we all our houses have been fix and I would say fix and flips, but they're not. So we buy them, totally gut them, rebuild them. We rebuild
Okay.
them with the mindset of, hey, we were gonna get these refinanced as a long-term rental. Because when we
Mhm.
first started out, there wasn't a lot of lenders who liked the co-living model. There's a few more now, but when we first started out, there
Yep.
wasn't. So you have to get them set up as a long-term rental, get it funded, and
Mm.
then convert a couple of the things over to make it co-friendly, co-living friendly.
Mhm.
So a lot of that we have 3 months of rehab costs, and then we have 3 months of cushion. So again, we look at that 6 month time period,
Mhm.
and that really gives us, hey, listen, if we have a project delay, we go 3 to 4 months, we still have lots of cushion. But what we found was that is saved our bacon on so many different times, because this is real estate. Something will go awry, either in
Mhm.
construction, refinancing. Hey, you get the house all done, it's perfect, and there's no tenants that show up for a month or 2 months, right? It takes a while for that to get filled up. You can guess, but always build an extra cushion. I see so many people saying, "Hey, I can do this fix and flip. I'll get your money back in 3 months." Boy, you're wishing for everything to be perfect, and you better have a really good plan, because if you're not,
Yep.
so always build an extra cushion.
Yes. Life happens, right? Sometimes
Okay.
unpredictable happens. Understand it. Yeah. Cool. So actually, you answered my next question already. So you rebuild, you fix your all your properties with attention to make it first long term first,
Correct. Yeah.
right?
The
Or
we
and
a couple of differences for that is we have a few houses that we bought subject to. So we're getting that creative
Mhm,
finance space. So we didn't
mhm,
have to go refinance those houses. Those houses, when we took them over, they're already financed. So we went right to the co-living model. But some of the
mhm,
other houses that we bought on a fix and flips kind of loan, in order to get them into a long-term DSCR loan,
mhm,
they wanted a residential home
mhm.
appraisal. And if you set it up for co-living where there's locks and all the bedroom doors, appraisers go, "What is that?" And you just don't get the full value. So kind of hold some funds back is what we kind of do for a rehab budget, knowing, okay, the house is
Mhm.
done, but it's not co-living done. Get the appraisal done, get the financing done, go back, make those couple little changes, and then start getting tenants in.
Great. And because it's pretty much my business model right now. I buy distressed properties to convert them into co-living pods, and I notice that more and more invest lenders who does DSCR, the more and more of them, they started, they offer right now part split and co-living DSCR. It's great.
What a difference.
Lenders are
A year ago, there was one or two in the whole country that were open to it. Now there's many, many more. So as the pad split name becomes more standard in the industry, it just gets easier. Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's another huge topic to talk about, all this structure, about BRR, about DSCR. Probably we need to schedule with you, Shane, another podcast soon, and to break down for people how works this model. But this is really wide topic. Let's discuss it next time, okay? I would love it.
Fantastic.
Great. Okay, guys, we probably have a couple minutes left. If someone has any questions to Shane, please feel free to ask. And anyway, I will leave Shane's Facebook link under this recording. For those who will be watching us in the future, please feel free to reach out to Shane. You see, he is open, he is great. He's always happy to answer your questions. Please feel free. Okay, Shane, thank you so much for all time you spent today with me. It was brilliant. It was funny. It was cool. Something from your own, something cool and interesting as conclusion, whatever you want to share with us.
Elena, again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for reaching out and setting this up. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Something about me, unique about me. Boy, great question. As I go through this and we figure out, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, right here, I'm 55 years old, trying to figure out what I want to do for my, always comes back to finding your why. And I have two beautiful children. I say children. My youngest is 22 and Nicole graduated 24. She's going to grad school. So just know your why, and just having those kids that you go, man, I want to build something that I can pass on to them and their kids in the future. That really is just inspiring to me to look at that every day and think about that. So that's my unique closing piece.
Cool. Great advice. Great advice. Always remember about your whys, right? It motivates.
So,
cool.
Elena, it was a pleasure. Let's talk about co-living sometime.
Yep, we will do it. Thank you so much, Shane. It was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. People, thank you so much for being today with us. It was a great podcast. And Shane, you see, he's professional, he's experienced. So please reach out to him if you have any questions regarding his experience or about his business model. And if you're a private money lender, I am investor as well. Please feel free, reach out to me. I'm always happy to build relationship with new lenders and for our future businesses. And again, thank you so much for being today with us. It was beautiful, great podcast. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.